is Joe, and you'll have to come pronounce your name for us.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I really appreciate the invitation from the League of Women Voters to be here, and also for the Senior Center to let us be here this evening. Afternoon, evening. It seems like we've been doing a bunch of these things today. My name is Joseph, or Joe Jarzembek. I am running. I'm one of the candidates for Erie County Family Court Judge. Let me tell you a little bit about me and who I am. And my family history, because I think it's poignant and important to understand where I'm coming from. My dad was fortunate enough to come to this great country in 1953. He was in the Polish army during the war. He fought Nazis and he fought communists. He was fortunate enough to come to this country to be liberated after the war, after fighting with the Allies. He came here, he settled in Buffalo, married my mom, and I was born, 55 years ago. I was fortunate enough to be raised in a family that was a really good family, but unfortunately, I lost my biological mother when I was 8. My dad remarried, and I was lucky, fortunate, to have a second mom raise me. I'm the first in my family to have gone to university. I'm a product of the Buffalo system in the sense I was raised in the Buffalo, on the east side of Buffalo, and then subsequently in North Buffalo. Went to St. Joe's, went to Canisius College, and went to UB Law School. I also got a master's degree in history at the University of Minnesota. Between my bachelor's degree and my law degree, I was torn probably between becoming an academic and becoming an attorney. I've been practicing lawyer for over 25 years. And I would say about 90% of my practice has been in family court. I started initially as what they used to refer to as a law guardian. Now the term of art is a children's attorney. I represented children who were stuck in the middle of custody fights, visitation issues, family issues, who need representation. I did that for about a year and a half. I was a panel law guardian. Subsequent to that, I became an assistant county attorney in Erie County. My boss was Pat Niemoyer, who's now a state Supreme Court judge. I was in that office for 4 years. In that office, my primary focus was to prosecute juvenile cases. These are cases, but for the age of the children, that end up in family court. We're dealing with 14, 15-year-olds, sometimes 13-year-olds. We'd have 12-and-a-half-year-old kids who, I don't know how they could steal cars, but they would take like 2 phone books and be able to short wire a car and somehow start it. Very ingenious children, but not focused in the right area. Did that for about 3.5 years, handled everything from small minor manners like shoplifting. I mean, they may not be minor to people here, but in the nature of what we would see, we'd see anything from that to major assault charges, sex crime cases, robberies, burglaries. We used to deal with a infamous gang in the lower west side of Buffalo called the 10th Street Gang, which wreaked havoc for about a year, committing numerous burglaries all around the west side. I did that for 3.5 years, almost 4 years, and then I've had my current position as an assistant counsel for the Erie County Department of Social Services for over 20 years. In that capacity, it's a civil service position. It's not a political position. I'm not running as a politician. I'm running as a career professional attorney. In that capacity, we handle matters, grisly matters sometimes. Child neglect cases, child abuse cases. Usually we don't have to deal with fatalities. Unfortunately, they've seen a couple of cases in the newspaper in the last couple of weeks that are rather troublesome. We represent Child Protective Service workers. We do not do the investigation for them. We represent them when we bring cases legally to court. We try to keep the focus on the children. The children are our most important resource. If we don't get it right with the kids, we're not going to have a future. When I get old and I'm in maybe a senior citizen home, I want to make sure that the person that's taking care of me has got a proper education, has been properly trained, and has good values. If we don't get it right with the kids, frequently what we see is generational problems in family court, unfortunately. We have young parents. Frequently some of those parents were neglected or maybe even abused when they were young. Sometimes they end up in the juvenile court system. Sometimes they end up in the adult criminal system. Sometimes they end up back in the family court system, not as children, but as adults or guardians that are being inappropriate. We try the best that we can. We look out for the children's best interests. I've been doing that for 20 years. There are 9 lawyers in that office that I'm in. I handle all the appellate cases which go up to Rochester. It's the appellate division. The appellate division reviews all the lower court decisions in family court. I think that that's provided a good framework for me. Most of the time we're advocating that the judge's decision at the family court level was proper. But sometimes we take appeals, and we sometimes get judges reversed on family court decisions. I'm not going to say that I'm 100% successful at the appellate division, but I would say that we win about 85 to 90% of our cases, which I think is a good batting average at the appellate division. I'm running for this because I was fortunate. I had 3 parents who raised me. What I see in family court is sometimes we have cases where we don't even have 1 good parent, let alone 2 or 3. My focus and my interest is in making sure that children are properly taken care of and are properly raised in the system if they end up in that system. And I think that I would make an excellent, or humbly would think that I would make at least a good judge in family court. And I would ask for your consideration in the election, which is in 2 weeks. And I humbly appreciate the league allowing me to be here this evening, running around like a crazy person because tonight we had like 4 events we're all running to, and I'm not the only one. All of us here, our candidates, have been doing that. So I appreciate your consideration. I'm willing to take any questions you may have.